food leadership systems. So that is our topic for today. I have a brief explanation on what the topic is about. Please just give me a second while I find it. Okay, so an explanation. This topic was provided by Edward. Yeah, Edward from the Rwanda chapter. So this is his topic. So the topic briefly. Africa's food system stands at a decisive crossroads. Despite the continent's vast agricultural potential, persistent inequalities rooted in gender, age, disability, ethnicity, and socio-economic status continue to hinder progress towards sustainable, equitable food systems. The gender equality and social inclusion are not optional values. They are strategic imperatives. They enable more inclusive leadership, stronger food security, and broad-based economic development. So basically, it's like saying some demographics are not included in this African food leadership. For example, women, young girls, people with disabilities, people from a certain area, they are excluded from being in the leadership role. So yeah, that's basically what this is about. But for now, we are focusing on gender equality and social inclusion. So some women are not involved in food leadership systems. So let's just stick with the gender equality, men and women. So yeah, okay, so the floor is yours. Anyone who would like to raise their hand and share their thoughts? Hello? Hello? Would anyone like to share their thoughts? Please raise your hand if you'd like to speak.
Um, Good evening, everyone. Okay, so from my own perspective on the topic, the role of gender equality and social inclusion practice in the African food system. So for me, gender equality is something that is always affecting Africa. Um, this 21st century. So if we look at the issues of food, you can see that based on reports, Africans is at risk at experiencing food insecurity any moment from now because its percentage has increased. So we should not leave farming to only the men. Because if the women are allowed to do things that men are doing, I think it should be better. I think there's an article that I and someone from Ghana wrote. I think I need to wrote, but it was specifically on gender. And we found out that some rules that we think are specifically for men should not be for men. But if we combine it both for men and women, we can see that Africa will thrive better. That is what I have to say from my own understanding or perspective for this topic.
Okay, thank you, good luck. So yeah, it's like that actually. We are Africans, right? And most African countries, most areas, the men are uh, doing most of the farming. For example, men are doing farming, and the ladies are kind of sidelined. They're not really into that. So now, how can we involve more ladies into the agriculture and farming sector? Because instead of just putting the men in the side, we should also include the women. We should also include the women in farming and agricultural activities, and that is going on right now in some African countries where the ladies are taking charge. They are owning farms, owning land, growing their own crops like spinach, tomatoes, etc., etc. So so like we need more women into those roles, but there's still those places or organizations where it's still majority is men. How can we involve women into those spaces? Yeah. Any thoughts, guys? Okay, Tebuko, go ahead.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone.
Hi.
Hello. Yes, so my thoughts are this. Why does it matter if somebody is a man or woman in an African food leadership position? Shouldn't we be focusing on the outcome? Shouldn't we be focusing on the results, their ability to deliver, like that capacity, that competence? For example, if I was there on an operation table in ICU, does it really matter if the doctor is a man or woman, or should we be focusing on whether they are able to do the job? So whether it's a man or woman in a food leadership position, African food leadership position, it doesn't matter. What matters is competence. Thank you.
Yes, I totally agree with you. Yes, that is true. Because whether man or woman, you should be able to do the thing, and you should not use your gender as an excuse or a hindrance. So yeah, I see where you're coming from that. Thank you. Charles, you're next. After Charles is Mawa.
Okay, thank you, Sifiwe, for the opportunity. And I think it's quite an interesting topic on board for discussion. But I think that when it comes to gender equality in this context, I think that some, or should I say, some women in Africa actually think that, farming involves the use of a lot of physical strength. And we know that men are associated with that kind of strength. So I also want to get a bit of clarification. When we talk of gender roles in farming, are we talking about the ownership where women can be the managers, or they are actually involved in the physical aspect of farming? I want to get that clear before I can continue.
Okay. Thank you. I think it in all sectors, leadership, management, in all sectors.
Okay.
Some women are not really involved in that. They just, I don't know, sidelined, I guess. But yeah, it goes for all sectors, all positions. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
So
Thank you.
I think one, education will be key.
Okay. Oh yes, definitely. Education is very important. Yeah. And I think we all
In
agree
getting
here.
women in economy. I think that. Yeah. Hello.
Oh, sorry, Charles.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Please,
can hear you.
can I? Okay, sure. So I think that one key thing to getting women involved in farming, all aspects of the farming process, is to educate them that. Especially, I think that when it comes to the physical aspect, in terms of using their strength, it may be quite difficult because we know that it's very involving. When it comes to the weeding, and in Africa, we don't use much of the mechanized farming system. It's about the traditional tools where you use the hoe, cutlass, and the likes. So probably weeding may be quite difficult for them. And so if they can get the finance to also go into farming, it may not necessarily be the crop farming. It can be poultry, cattle rearing, and all that. So I think public education will be key. And I think that in Ghana here.
Okay.
Um
Okay, sorry, Charles. I'm gonna have to cut you there. We have to
okay.
give another person a chance. We'll come back to you.
Sure.
Okay, thank you, Charles. So yeah, I think we can all agree that education is important for both men and women, especially with agriculture, because at least you must have some sense of knowledge to be able to work to operate the equipment, right? So I think we can agree on that. Mawa, yes, you have the floor.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Sifui. Hi, good luck. Here I'd like to make 2 points, actually. Like, first, if we're talking about gender equality, are we talking about gender equality or we're talking about gender equity? So here it's about the qualifications or the kind of skill that the person have or has, or if are we talking about, maybe any other stuff that give this person the privilege? Like in our case here, we're talking about gender. So are we going to hire this person only because she is a female or because she has some specific skills? So this is a point. Another point, if we're talking about social inclusion, so here we have to ask 2 sub questions. What's the level of inclusion that we're talking about, and how can we actually implement this inclusion in the society? So if we're talking about the level of inclusion, do you think that all spectra of the society should be including in maybe making decisions, maybe in making policies, or maybe just we can consult them as some kind of consumers receiving this service? Because this is going to make a big difference. Like, for example, if we're talking about doctors, engineers, physicians, psychiatrists. So if we're talking about this spectra, maybe they're not that involved in this kind of industry. Maybe they don't have the kind of technical experience that makes them qualified for making the decision here. So maybe we can just consult them as consumers. But on the other hand, if we're talking about farmers, if we're talking about specialists in agriculture, some kind of stuff, so here we have to make them involved in the process. And by the way, if we're talking about today's agricultural world, if we're talking about technology being involved in this as much as possible, and of course AI also is involved in this process. So do you think that we should talk about all levels, or maybe we can upscale our discussion to talk about the supreme levels or the higher levels, and maybe all the hard work that used to be done by human beings, it's not necessary anymore? Now you have modern system for irrigation, for agriculture, so maybe we should not be that worried about that level, and we go to a higher level. We're talking about maybe planning, management, marketing, maybe this is going to be
Yes.
more, yeah, more more
Okay.
more beneficial to the discussion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mawa. Yeah. Um, with regards to your first point, I think to some level there should be like women involved, but also I'm saying that some this thing of some women can't do what the guys do, and some men cannot do what the ladies do. Like I think they should be balanced, but uh with regards to women, they should be involved in the decision making also. Maybe just get their opinions on certain decisions, not necessarily be in too much, but I think we should also consider the ladies also in these decisions. And also, and with regards to second, it's like saying it also goes back to the thing of there are some jobs that are specific. Okay, let's go with this. Let's stick with this topic. This goes with some things are just designed for the women. They can do that best than the men, and vice versa. So how do we balance the thing? How do we balance that? So yeah, that raises a question. So thank you, Mawa. Good luck. Your hand was raised. Hello, good luck. Okay, anyone else would like to share their thoughts? Okay, yes, Debo.
Yes, it's me again. I just want to say that I agree with Mawa and the was this the previous speaker? I don't know whether it was Charles or whoever. The thing is, there's no job specific for women or men. Like there's no such a job. It's just general. It's an application open for everyone. However, because of the biological wiring and the physical wiring of men and women, certain jobs are preferred by a certain gender than others. But however, ratios are put in place where we want a certain number of men and a certain number of women. We just see, however, that because of preferences, maybe because of the psychological wiring, certain women do certain jobs and certain men do certain jobs like nursing. But of course, the bridge is being reduced. There's a bridge for that. Sorry. Yeah. But what I want to say is education comes into place. Because yes, they will say we have so many slots for young girls, for women, for the disabled, but not many of them would actually go ahead and do it. So we should actually try to bring about the case of public education. Thank you.
Yes, true, true, true. Yeah, I think it all boils down to being educated and being informed that there is such a thing. You can learn it, you can, you know, you can gain the skills for it. It's not necessarily a boy thing or a girl thing. You can do it. If you put your mind to it, you can be included in this field, in these genders, I should say, gender specific field. So yeah, thank you, Teboho. Anyone else would like to share their thoughts? If you cannot be able to speak, you can drop it in the chat box. Okay, let's go back to Charles. Charles. Oh, okay. Mawa, you have the floor. We'll come back to you, Charles.
All right.
Mhm. Yeah, since we're talking about education, and education was mentioned more than once. So, if we're talking about maybe the technical education that's available in lots of African countries today, do you think that this is enough for talking about, the higher level that we're talking about? Or like if we're talking about gender equity, I don't know if you're really interested in replacing equality with equity anymore, but if we're talking about, having a specific education delivered to females on purpose in order to prepare them for such roles, do you think that this is necessary in the education system, or to have just one education system specifically directed to agriculture? I don't know about the situation in lots of African countries, but I assume that maybe agriculture education is not receiving the actual amount of interest as it should be. Like usually you're going to find lots of African countries more interested in technical stuff, maybe in artificial intelligence in different fields rather than agriculture. So don't you think that maybe we should take it on a deeper level, like to start thinking about the education system from the very beginning, or maybe any kind of system that can lead to producing or graduating lots of leaderships that are really capable of leading forward? If we're going to have maybe some kind of segregated education system that can present something in particular to females in order to make them well prepared for that, or maybe we can change the mentality about agriculture in general. I don't know, maybe today if you talk to lots of people about agriculture, or maybe getting a degree in agriculture, maybe they're not going to be interested. But if you're going to mix it with AI or technology, maybe they're going to be more interested. So do you think that we need something like that today?
I think so. In my opinion, I think so. Because I think we should stick to one education system. That way, everyone can learn about the same thing, regardless of whether you're a man or a woman. You need to know the basics, So I think we should just stick to one. That is just my opinion. Thank you, Mao. Okay, so we have an answer in the chat box. It is from Haulate. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Okay, so this person, he or she says, women across the continent do not have the same access to land, finance, farming technology, and even seeds and fertilizers as their male counterparts. Empowering women in the food system with equal opportunities will have a massive positive impact with far-reaching effects, from reducing poverty and improving rural livelihoods to fighting malnutrition and eradicating stunting in young children. I am in support of equity over equality, affirmative action of some sort. Until we have a gender parity, then we can talk about then we can talk of equality. Okay, thank you, Paula. Yeah, I get your point. I get your point there. I think we should also empower women, because not a lot of women likes to go into agriculture. I don't know about the figures of how many men to women, but there's not a lot of women who would like to go into the agriculture sector. So we need to change that and say that we can also be in in the agriculture sector, also be involved in farming, whether cattle or vegetables or something like that. So I think we need to just change that. Okay, so thank you, Halate, for your thoughts on it. Thank you. Charles, yes, you have the floor.
Yeah. Thank you once again. I think you mentioned something very significant about women not, enthused about going into agriculture. Because I think generally, I can't speak for other African countries, but in Ghana, anyone who goes into farming is thought of as a poor person, that kind of mentality. Because most of us are seeking after white collar jobs. So you go into farming and you are seen as poor, you are not serious and all that. So I think in the case of women, it's even more difficult for them because one, the physicality involved, and also the perception that those who go into farming need. I think someone mentioned some kind of expertise, which most often than not the women are not exposed to or they don't have. So I think that the women themselves also have to change their mindset about going into agric or agriculture, as we may call it. So that's what I can add. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Charles. Yeah, I agree. Some women have that mentality, and they still do, and some men have that mentality of women cannot be into farming with because of XYZ. So we need to change that mentality of saying that no, you can join it, whether you are a woman or a man, you can be in this sector as long as you have the skills, the education, the knowledge, then you can be in it. So why should your gender and your mentality hold you back into getting into that to the agricultural sector? So yeah, we need to change those mentalities. Yes, Mao, you have the floor.
I guess maybe we should talk also about a different angle. Like if we're talking about the stage following agriculture, maybe we should talk also about transportation, packaging, and marketing. And here, I guess maybe women can play a vital role. Like if we're talking about women working in the society as daughters, maybe wives, mothers, so they have another role that they play in their families that can pair with the industrial process. Because here we're not talking only about agriculture, we're talking about the lifestyle. And here I remember also we're talking about nutrition. So are we going to create a healthy lifestyle for the whole society? So I think this is going to be a great chance to have this kind of partnership with all females working in the society in different roles, in order to make this kind of partnership between agriculture and having a better lifestyle, which is going to create a better opportunities for everyone to have this good health. And of course, this is going to solve lots of other problems that people suffer from.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, I agree with you there. Thank you, Mawa. Anyone else would like to share their thoughts? Okay, so here's a thought from Loretta Latoya. She says, I think in terms of gender equality and social inclusion, we can consider diverse perspective, inclusion of women, youth, hold farmers, and also marginalized communities. In that way, we get wider array of perspectives, life experiences, and knowledge on food security. A policy without women as an input in farming might overlook appropriate agricultural technologies. Women are practicals. Women are practicals in their inclusion and voices in the food system leadership and and voices in food system leadership can ensure those practical agricultural realities. Thank you, Loretta, for your thoughts. Yeah, we should just be included, and like they should be involved in the decision-making process. Because I don't want to be what's this thing? Traditional, like too traditional, but most African families, the women do the cooking, like the women do the shopping. So I think it's fair that the women should also be involved in agricultural decisions and technologies, etc., etc. So thank you, Loretta. Anyone else would like to share their thoughts? Anyone? Okay, I'm just gonna call out someone. Naledi, your thoughts? Oh, okay. Tebuko, yes, you have the floor.
I just want to know that the motion says leadership. Women are involved all across all different levels of agricultural production or food production. We have women in the fields that are growing crops. We have women in the meat production, like chickens and whatnot. The challenge is not many of them are in the leadership positions. Why? Maybe because of systematic barriers, like some Howlett has said that yes, a few women own land, farming land, and stuff like that. But we should address the systematic issues, but not just the systematic issues, but as well, like as Mawa said, we should also try to capacitate women. For example, agricultural education, there's not much agricultural education going on. So maybe if there was more agricultural education, then more women and marginalized groups will join to be representative as well. Yeah, so that's my take. I'm agreeing actually.
Okay, yeah, I see there. So the question there is how, you know, how do we involve these women? Because we have the capacity. It's just a matter of how, you know. So thank you, Teboko. Antonio, you have the floor.
Hi, thank you. So I think that it is important to consider which are the area or identify the area that needs more women representative, and also
All,
what are the,
all areas of agriculture, farming.
and I would expand more, because by identifying only the agriculture, we might find kind of African countries that we already have many women representation into agriculture, or either a male representation. Wherever there is no balance, I think there should be kind of a policy approach in order to motivate those people, the gender, because we're talking about woman. Some countries as well, it's male needs, you know. Let's give example of Angolan as well in terms of gender.
Yeah.
In Angola, the government has created a policy to increase the percentage of women representative in the parliament. You know what happened? It was pushed. It's been seen that the women are there because of the policy. Many of them, they do not speak by
Yeah.
themselves. They are submissive. So that's not the kind of representative, the kind of equality that we're looking for. We want women or gender representative that they are able to express themselves according to their willing, because it goes against to the inclusion if the gender representative members are not playing the role according to their interest. So identify the areas of need, then we can motivate more the gender representatives that are in need on those area. Let's say, for example, if there is less women in the parliament, we might motivate more women to follow the parliament so that we can find a little bit the balance. And also consider, the key is to consider their interest. We can't force women or male to do something that they are not interested with. We need to motivate them. We need to provide accessibility for them to play or to enroll on those areas that we want to see more gender representative, either male or woman. I think that's what we need to start. And then after that, we can start identify if it is
Okay.
education, if it is a politician, if it is any area. But talking to Africa, it is
Yeah.
a big need that we need to bring a lot of women out of the family context, because they got used to only play the family roles and then play more social institution roles. Let's say, for example, quickly, I'm going to finish now. Sports. Here in Angola, it's very, very difficult. We just started like 5 years ago, like having girls playing soccer. And the males, they do not practice
Okay.
gymnastics. You know, the mindset is that gymnastics is for girl and the soccer is for men, you know, for boys.
Yeah.
So this mindset could be changed
Sorry,
by,
sorry, Antonio.
okay,
Winnie,
okay.
please mute yourself.
Yeah,
Sorry,
thank you.
sorry, Antonio. Sorry,
No,
Antonio.
basically I just finished. I'm
Um,
finished with this
Miss
example
Winnie,
of
please
soccer.
mute yourself.
I'm just pointing out one of the big example of my contest here in Angola as a PE teacher and a soccer coach. I've seen a lot of girls running out from soccer because the mindset is that who plays soccer
Okay.
must be boys. And an opposite, the boys they run away from
Antonio,
gymnastics.
you need to finish up.
Okay, I finished. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Winnie, please mute yourself. Let me see if I can. Winnie, sis Winnie, please mute yourself. Okay. Yes, thank you, Antonio, for your points. The notes down. Thank you. Mawa, you have the floor. After Mawa is Dorcas.
Yeah, thank you. So in an answer to your question about how to include more women in leadership, so maybe we can try having some programs for developing leadership among ladies. Another solution can be focusing on mentorship and sponsorship. Like women can work under the leadership of experienced people who really have great experience, and they can work according to the support and guidance of those people. A third solution can be networking. Like if we have women working in this field, but they cannot find a really solid opportunity if they're are connected to each other across different countries, maybe they can create some kind of organization or some kind of way of contribution in order to help each other evolve in this process. Also having a role model, I think if this is missed, even if we're talking about males, so if they can find a real role model that can guide them through the process, I think that this is going to be really great, specifically if they're going to be able to present some kind of vital solutions to the problem that they are encountering according to the environment that they're working with. And finally, celebrating achievements, because sometimes you can find women working in different areas and maybe in different spectra of the food system, but maybe nobody hears about them because their achievements and their attributions are not celebrated in the society, so nobody hears about them. So maybe they're out there, but all what they need is just to be under the spotlight. Thank you.
Yes, true. Thank you, Mawa. Yeah, we need more women role models. Yeah, especially in agriculture. I don't think there's a lot of women role models in agriculture. Yeah, we should try to find them actually. So thank you, Mawa. Dorcas, you have the floor. After Dorcas is Tebo, and then I will read in the chat. No, actually, let me read in the chat box. Okay. Halate says, it is also important to include indigenous knowledge systems in addressing issues of climate change that basically discourage both genders, but especially women, from going into food production. There has to be a way in which people of elderly people dependent on farming for sustenance sustainably. We can copy that and increase food production. Also, a lot of policies are in place on paper. Problem is implementation in most African countries. Okay, so thank you, Halate. For the second point, the policies, yes, yeah. I also agree on that. There are policies, it's just a matter of implementing them, yeah. And then for your first point, yeah, again, that's where we can get our knowledge. That's where we can learn. We learn from the elderly, those who came before us. If we can find out how they did it, then we can also do it now and maybe like change it, tweak it a bit, think of it technologically. And yeah. So I think that will work also. Yeah, just involving the elderly, learning from them too. Yeah, that will help. Thank you, Halat. Okay, Dorcas, you have the floor. After Dorcas is Debo.
Good evening. Thank you so much. I joined late. My apologies. But I loved what was said by Antonio, especially on issues of policy, maybe rectifying it or policy amendment. I also one person who I don't think I advocate for gender equality, but rather gender equity. I feel like the gender equality was over over emphasized to an extent that women are more empowered, but rather after being empowered, now the empowerment, they are integrated with men who are not empowered. And then when a woman expresses himself, when a woman is active, it intimidates a man, but rather these two people coexist when it comes to issues of farming, business, leadership. So if these two people are integrated as one, then we will have good people living together, coexisting. But rather we are focusing on women, and then later on the women are like having an upper hand over men, and then later leading to issues of gender violence that we are not looking for. And then there is this issue again that women, he said something like, okay, let's look at what is their area of interest. We can emphasize food security, food production and everything, but again, if you're not interested in it, you can't
Yeah.
do something that you know you don't love, because it goes with issues of passion, it goes with issues of, are you interested? Because I know that mostly women do these things of jam production and everything. It's sort of farming, it's a sort of production on its own. And if it's that is what we have observed that they're good at, then let's appreciate that and follow suit. But before we talk about gender
Yeah.
equality, let's think of bringing these two people to coexist in peace, men and a woman. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Yes. Totally agree. We should just, instead of excluding the men in this case, we should include them and also and let them work together because they have the same thing. Let's just talk, So yeah, I agree with you there, Dorcas. Thank you. Deboko, you have the floor.
Okay, I think I'm gonna have to. Can you see me? I think I agree with Dorcas and Mao. It's not more about gender equality, but more about gender equity. But still, on that one, somebody mentioned policy reforms, like land ownership rights. We should ensure that women have equal access to farming land as well, and also access to resources like finance and credit, so that women can start and expand their agricultural ventures, as well as access to technology and equipment to promote women's access to tools and innovations in farming, processing, and distribution, as well as representation and visibility. There should be quotas or targets, encouraging institutions and boards to ensure that women hold leadership positions, as well as having inclusive networks whereby, we strengthen women-led organizations or cooperatives, which are agricultural agribusinesses, and ensure that we include them in decision making. Of course, also culturally, we should engage the community, especially the leaders, to shift the mindsets and break the stereotypes in which we view agricultural leadership as a male-only led industry. And the research and the data as well. We don't have much research and data. Maybe there is there somewhere, but we need to have more access to that research, which shows the gender aggregates, and then may that research be used to inform agricultural decisions. I also like to add having inclusive value chains, whereby at all stages, from production to processing and packaging and marketing and export, like Mao has said, we should support women-led agribusinesses, such as procurement contracts and supply chain opportunities. We should involve women again in research, in agricultural research. More women should be involved in agricultural research to lead agricultural research, and they should fund female researchers in order to lead to sustainable farming. We should empower women in governance and policy influence. we should empower women to, we should include them in national agricultural advisory boards, trade associations, and food security task forces. We should train women in advocacy and policy engagement so that they can influence decisions at local and national levels. To end, I'll just like to say that we should have targeted funding or investment. We should grant schemes to female agripreneurs, and we should also, as well, we should have monitoring and accountability frameworks, because we don't have much statistics on the ground. Maybe they are there somewhere that I've just put on a shelf, but we need to have clear targets for female leadership representation, and we should measure that progress annually, and we should make transparency and reporting a part of the agricultural institution performance. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes. Your points are very true, and yes, there should be more of that. Yes, thank you, Tebogo. Okay, noted. Good luck. So in the chat box, Bugingo Edward says gender equity would sound good. Okay, thank you, Bugingo. Loretta Latoya says, I think in order to involve women, we can challenge the social cultural norms, because they are discriminatory, as we all know, that essential to African food systems. Women perform the majority of labor in production, as Tebogo was saying. So that domestic work burden should be reduced, as we are in a modern era. We can have labor-saving technologies. We can build their self-efficacy through training support, so that they also have good public speaking skills and negotiation abilities. Okay, yes. That's totally valid. Thank you, Loretta. And then you continue by saying, we can also have gender responsive researchers focusing on the needs and challenges of women, together with their contributions within their contributions to the food system. Yes, but like Tebogo was saying, yes. There needs to be gender responsive researchers. Maybe there is somewhere out there, we just don't know, but yeah, there needs to be more of that. Thank you, Loretta. And Bogingo Edwards says, once again, the GESI should not be equated with women and girls empowerment. The GESI is beyond. Thank you. Okay, so remember when we started, we talked about the GESI so the GESI stands for gender equality and social inclusion. So it should be beyond. It shouldn't be just for women and girls. Yeah, it should be also for the men and boys. Yeah, thank you, Bugingo. Mawa, you have the floor. After Mawa is good luck.
Yeah, thank you. So based on the previous discussion, we're assuming that maybe women are not getting the chances that they want. But if we flip it and think, the other way around, maybe women are actually reluctant regarding, getting involved in this process for several reasons. Like, I assume maybe, based, of course, on the specific situations that we're talking about, because as I told you in the very beginning, maybe it depends on several factors, including the environment in which they're working in. But maybe in some cases, they're not receiving the payment that any male would receive in their same position. Because, in the mind of some employers, they think that they're not competent enough to receive the same payment that they're going to give to any male equivalent. So this makes women a little bit hesitant, because of course maybe they have lots of financial responsibilities, so maybe they're not be willing to waste their time receiving a lower payment. This is a point. And another point, maybe also the work-life balance, because women usually have different responsibilities and more complicated situations when compared to men. So maybe lots of employers are not really interested in getting involved in all of these complications, and they would prefer hiring a male man who's not going to have the same complicated responsibilities of raising kids and having to take care of infants or something. So they don't want to get involved in all of these situations. Thank you.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Mao. But the work-life thing, I think it's a matter of, well, you have to have a balance. Why should the woman be excluded because they have the kids, they have the husband, they have the home, etc., etc.? Why should they be
Yeah, because
excluded, you know?
yeah,
So
yeah, because in the mind of the
yeah,
employer, they think that they have to take several leaves, like maternity leave, for example. The man shouldn't have that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So in their mind, they can use this time in order to get more productivity. When they can do it in an easy way. You know what I mean? In an easy way.
yeah, true, true. Yeah, that sort of mindset needs to change. We're in 2025 right now, but there are still those companies, those um organizations that still have that mindset. We need to change that, you know, because women are capable as men to do these things. So yeah, thank you, Mao. Good luck. You have the floor.
Me correctly and okay. Please can you hear me? All right.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so what if we look at it from this perspective? Because you can hear some policies being implemented to include women in things of when it comes to food production and the rest, agriculture and the rest. And at the end of the year, you still see decline in women participation. What if we look at it from this perspective? Women have been empowered, but they show low interest in when it comes to agriculture because they feel it is some occupations are meant for men. Because we have been always been looking at from perspective that okay, they have not been empowering them, they have not been offering them opportunity. What if we look at it from the perspective of these people have been given this opportunity, but still they don't show interest in it? Because no year of because in finance, which is my own major discipline, we have what we call environmental social governance, which has been implemented by major companies. And in Nigeria, for example, you can see equity in employment process when it comes to 50% male and I think 50% female. That was some company does. But still yet you still see women low participation when it comes to certain opportunities. So I think it's time we look into what can we do to ensure it's not even setting up a policy. Because if you put policies in place, some persons will still go ahead and do what they want to do. But if you look at it, what can we do to encourage these women to start doing some of these things? Do we talk to the husband and convince the husband that okay, allow your wife to come out? Or you talk to the young girls that you can go into agriculture and still become a married woman and still take your kids. You want to have more time for
Yeah.
your family. So that is just what I want to say.
Okay, thank you. Good luck. So yeah, yeah, it's those things. And then you have those ladies who are just they're all about, yeah, we want to get in, but then they don't put in the work. We go back again to last week's debate, you know. So yeah, it's just a matter of interest. We need to pick into their interest and just make it more, how do I say it, appealing, I should say, you know, encourage the ladies and young girls to join agriculture, and just to convince them that agriculture is not as bad as it looks or as it seems, you know. So yeah, thank you. Good luck. Noted. Noted. Okay, so we have a response in the chat box. Halate says, I also think that women should be given affirmative access to the market to sell their products, hoping that they are not cheated or exploited by their buyers. Women face too many barriers and have to exchange favors to gain access into markets. That can be very discouraging to any woman trying to be an agripreneur, an agricultural entrepreneur. Maybe governments can give equitable access to women at the markets. True, true. Thank you, Halate, for your comment. Yeah, yeah. Some women face that, you know, some women have to like pay in order to get into the market or do other things. Whereas the men, they don't have to do these other things or pay a bribe, I should say. So we need to stop that thing and allow women to get in there fairly, equally, and yeah, just get in there without any. I don't have to do more in order to. I can just do what I do, and then I'm in. You know. So yeah, thank you, Halate, for your thoughts. And then you also say, also good luck. I think women are systematically discouraged with all the policies available. We need mindset change of the powers that be. Yes, true. Yeah, just need to change um the the policies available. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Khalati. Okay, let's go with Harata, and then after Harata is Tebogo, and then we're gonna answer the text in the chat box. Harata, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. And apologies in case I have a baby, in case she cries while I'm trying to join the conversation. So I don't know, I might be off topic, but I wanted to say yes. The government bodies who might try to empower women at workplace, but now the challenge is the configuration happens at the family side of things. Because when we raise kids, we raise them different. The girl child and the boy child, they are raised different. And then now, when we only expect the empowerment to be happening at a later stage, so that's why even though attempts are there, it doesn't give the result that we are looking for, because already we are made to think some things are for men and others are for ladies.
Okay, thank you, Harata. Yes, I also had that thought that it starts at home. Again, another topic, another debate we had about this sort of thing about family cultures and values. It starts at home, and we had this thing of with the boys, they're usually playing with the mud and doing rough housing, whereas the girls are mostly at home doing, I don't know, I think delicate things. So and when a girl goes and when a girl does agricultural, or gets her hands dirty, we shout at them, we're like, don't do that. So I think that to get women into agriculture, it must start at home and say, no, it's fine, girl. You can plant, you can work with the garden tools, don't be afraid, just do it. If you like doing it and you want to do it, then do it. Don't worry about these old social norms. Yeah. So thank you, Harata, for your point. Tebogo, you have the floor. Hello, Tebogo.
Hello.
Oh yeah. Yes, I can hear
Yes.
you. Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to say, a lot of initiatives that have been, and a lot of public education is going on to encourage more women to join agricultural leadership positions. However, it's like they are not interested. So let's try to shift the narrative. Why are we focusing on the ones that are not interested? I'm gonna agree with Mawa. Why don't we focus on the ones who are already on the bandwagon, who have jumped on the bandwagon? Why don't we celebrate their success stories? Why don't we publish their stories more and showcase them on radio, on television, on magazines, newspapers, everywhere, celebrating these iconic women who are part of the agricultural food production leadership, who are part of agricultural food leadership. What I'm saying is, yes, women are involved in agriculture everywhere, from all levels, from food production to processing to packaging, even food preparation, like the cooking. It's all women. However, they are being underrepresented only at the leadership position. So I will give an example with our country, Botswana. Like in parliament, there are few women in parliament, but there was a woman, a minister who was a female. She represented the females, the ladies in Botswana, by changing a law that was discriminated towards women. It was an immigration law, whereby it only recognized is it inheritance? Like when a child gains the nationality of the father only, it only recognized that, but it discriminated women, from the children of women, from gaining a Botswana citizenship. So instead, she changed that. I forgot her name, but she changed that law, and it favored the women. So what I'm trying to say is, even in food leadership positions, let's celebrate women that are already in leadership. And those women in leadership, they should be representing the women in the agriculture, and they should be changing the policies and the laws, implementing the laws that will be beneficial and representative to the women in agriculture. That is all I wanted to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Debko. Yeah, because it starts with them basically. If we start with them, more women will join in. So yeah, thank you, Debko. Okay, there's a text in the chat box. Bugingo says, not only about women alone, but also the youth, vulnerable groups, disabled people, and others. With left, sorry, no one is left behind in the system. The system can achieve more. Yeah. So no one gets left behind, and we all know that it's not only the women, it's also people with disabilities, the youth, people from other areas, vulnerable areas. Yeah, true. So yeah, thank you, Bugingo Edward. Yeah. Okay, so how much? Okay, so it's now 7 o'clock. Now we're gonna go to concluding thoughts. So now we're gonna go on to the portion of the debate where we're going to do concluding thoughts. So please raise your hand while I just read some text in the chat box. This is all about concluding thoughts now. Okay, so Halate says, Harate has made me very aware of how the family basically disempowers women. My family owns a farm somewhere in Botswana, and already I know that the farm belongs to my little brother. He's attached to my father at the hip when it comes to farm business, and I and my mom unfortunately tend to the rose garden and the small veggie patch. Sigh. Yeah, yes. Yeah, this also falls onto it starts at home. Starts at home. Yeah, if we change the mindset at home, then it will spread. So yeah. Doka says to Teboho. Oh, okay. Okay, so he has read that. Okay. Guys, any concluding thoughts? Okay, I'm gonna go one by one. Teboho, concluding thoughts, please. Keep it 1 minute. Hello, Teboho. Okay, Dorcas, please, your concluding thoughts.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to say that women feed nations, but systems often fail to feed their leadership potential. So instead, we should change. Change begins when we restructure access, shift mindsets, and intentionally include women at every table, from farms to parliaments. Thank you.
Thank you. Halate, any concluding thoughts?
Hi everyone. Basically, what I think is that if we include women from childhood, if we teach our girl child that she has the power to feed the nation, then she grows up with that mentality. Nothing will stop her. There will be no barrier available that is going to make her think that she is unable. If governments can put out policies and everything and say this is what women need to do, then the girl child will go ahead and grab that. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Harata, your concluding thoughts. Please keep it short in 1 minute.
Thank you. My thought is that normally when we're focusing on trying to empower either a girl child, we tend to forget the boy child. So I don't know if we can say let's just empower kids, grow them as equals, not to empower the other, and then we end up forgetting the other.
Yeah. Thank you, Harata. Loretta, your concluding thoughts. Okay. Antonio, your concluding thoughts. Please keep it short in 1 minute.
I think that when we speak about equality, we should consider both gender, although that it is necessary to adjust according to the need. Positive discrimination from those gender that need more representative accessibility and provide more opportunity should be the main point. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Kuihangana, your concluding thoughts. Okay. Mawa, your concluding thoughts. Please keep it short.
Yeah. I think in society, all spectra are capable of improving the food system based on potential and contributions that they are willing to present. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we did Antonio. Bogingo, your thoughts, your concluding thoughts.
Hear me? Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
To conclude, let us raise our voice as Red Health Education Africa and the Quad applying just in autonomy in Africa and leadership speaking, but also in other systems. So, upon applying JES in all systems, we empower everyone with their social.
Oh, we're losing you there. Okay, thank you, Bogingo. Charles, concluding thoughts. Hello. Dorcas, your concluding thoughts, or have I done you already?
No.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Okay.
Please go ahead. Your concluding thoughts.
I think foundation is key. Let's build a brighter future for both. Let's not shun and be biased on one gender. Rather, let's give all children the platform. The decision is theirs. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I did heard. Mr. L.H. Munango, your concluding thoughts.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Okay, I
Hello.
might be out of topic because I just joined, but from what I followed, I think I can only say that, okay, there is a foundation where everyone have to be given an opportunity to do or become what they have to become. But I will emphasize one thing, that those who are already in the position, they should learn to pull other or bring others on board. So that speaking on that one, let me talk of my country. We have is a human right, so where gender equality is there. So position that men can own, women can also own them. So it's just a matter of engaging themselves in those activities and waiting for another person to put them in this position. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Naledi, your thoughts? Okay. Tebuchiso, your thoughts, your concluding thoughts? Okay. Have I done everyone? Let me see, have I done everyone? Is Good Luck here? Hello, Good Luck? Okay, he's not here. I think I've missed someone. Okay, so, oh yes. Okay, so someone responded in the chat box. Loretta says, in conclusion, I can say that true progress in this area of food system is contingent upon incorporating diverse voices and experiences into leadership processes. Yes, yeah, true. Thank you, Loretta. Would anyone like to say any concluding thoughts again? Mugingo? Oh, okay. Okay, so Bugingo says, in conclusion, let us now raise our voices as read towards better implementation, GESI, not only in African leadership systems, but also in other systems. Better GESI implementation and better Africa we need. Sustainable Africa equals better Africa implementation. Okay, thank you, Bugingo. So with Good Luck, Okay, with good luck. Is he here? Did I cover everyone?
Okay, I think my concluding thought for today is just based on the last thing I said. I think someone talked about publishing women's success story. Yes, I think we should create a journal specifically in Africa for women to celebrate all their success stories. I think they're just focusing more on agriculture to encourage women. For example, in Nigeria, since the current managing director of Zenith Bank took over, I can see more women deciding to go into the banking sector, not to become a normal staff, but to become a CEO and the rest. But before, you can see top positions in the banking sector in Nigeria are majorly for the men. But now, since the woman took over, I think women, young girls are now developing interest into the financial services sector. So if there were more stories like this in the agricultural sector, I think women would be encouraged to participate more. I think from my own perspective, I'm looking at women from the perspective of young girls. Because if I look at women from the perspective of married women, I think we'll be having conflicting issues here. So that's my concluding thoughts. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think I have covered everyone. Oh, hello, Koke Jaya. You have joined in late. But I would squeeze you in just a thought on your thoughts on the topic. Okay, while we wait, there is a text in the chat box. Naledi Kuti says, I kept losing my connection during the call. Oh, sorry about that. Promotion of women empowerment through activations, women-led businesses, encouraging women to take up leadership positions. Yeah, you are not off topic. Yeah. Basically, some participants also said what you said. So yeah, those also work. Thank you, Naledi. Okay, I think we have covered it all, covered everyone. Okay, so for my concluding thoughts on this topic, we should just be more inclusive and also show off that, hey, women, you can also be part of the agricultural sector. You can also be there, you are not excluded. If you want to be actively in the farming and agricultural process, then go for it, do it, and parents must just support her in this whole in her journey into agriculture, and then also with the gender equality, we should not leave the boy child. We always leave the boy child when it comes to these sort of things. We should not leave the boy child. We should empower both the boy child and the girl child, so that they grow up to not exclude anyone, and this also not only lies with boys and girls, men and women, it also lies with the youth, people with disabilities, people from vulnerable areas. We should also include them into the food leadership programs and policies, get their voices in, because they also are part of the agricultural process in some way. I mean, they also eat the food that these farmers are planting, so they should also be included in these leadership roles. So yeah, that is my concluding thoughts. Okay, how many minutes we have left? Oh, we are early. Okay. Okay, so I think we can close this debate. Thank you guys for attending this debate. It has been very insightful, very informative, and yeah, you guys raised some really good points about the topic. Some are the same, some are different, but yes, and different perspectives. So yeah, thank you guys for this debate. Thank you for your opinions, your thoughts. This has been really insightful. Again, please, if you have an idea for a debate, please share it with me, and also share a summary of the topic that you want us to discuss. Yeah, so yeah, just share that with me. And let me check again in the chat box if there's any text that I missed. Mm. Mm. No, I think I covered everyone. Okay, yeah, I covered everyone. Yeah. So yeah, thank you guys so much for attending. This has been insightful again. Thank you. If you have a topic that you want us to debate on, please share it with me with with a summary of the topic. Yeah. Yeah, please include the summary of the topic. Thank you, Bogingo Edward, for today's topic. And yeah. Yeah, a special shout out to you for the topics. So thank you guys, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening. I'll see you all on next week Tuesday for another debate. Thank you guys. Oh, good